Good evening, everyone. It is the Chinese Grand Prix, round two of the championship. However, I've got to start off with a very heartfelt apology to all the viewers that viewed last Monday stream then of Gold, because shamefully I made a 6-7 joke, and according to our Google Analytics, we lost 50% of our viewership, and then another 30% of our streamership and all that kind of stuff. And also, I had I'm not angry, I'm disappointed from the admins as well. So, yes, I apologize if that was quite horrific stuff for myself. I'm just trying to be cool and all that kind of jazz then. But shocking stuff indeed. However, what was quite cool and quite funny is I just in Delano's meme in the gold chat, which was quite funny, to be honest. Of course, I think he's got like a meme that big giant Omos fellow who used to wrestle in the WWE, and a very short Mexican wrestler as well, who is not Rey Mysterio, but I don't know who it is. But anyway, that was quite a funny meme. Hopefully for Delano, that he will actually be the giant Omos. Anyway, enough with that. Then we can go for the drivers and the constructors first, then, because I gotta say that this is going to be quite quick, because only 6 drivers technically scored last week. Then, because of course we had so many reserves in the race. We got about we had quarter last week, and I think we got about 4 or 5 in again this week. But the drivers' championship is currently being led by Immortal, who's not here tonight. We'll talk about that in just a jiffy. Bravitt is currently 10 points. Dripper, of course, the man who was second last week, of course, is a reserve driver, so he does not appear on the classification, unfortunately. And then we got Flippy on 12 points, 8 points for Nameless, 6 points we'll see, and Medi on 2 points as well. Happy birthday, by the way, to Medi. Then it was his birthday yesterday or today. Good stuff indeed. And of course, also it was one of the founding fathers' birthdays as well, a couple of days ago, in the form of Daniel Murphy. So good stuff indeed. Of course, I think he's still like in the top 5 for most of drivers of the most appearances in ALR's history. Then of course he was here, there, and everywhere, wasn't he? In the constructors' championship, a little less straightforward, but it's 33 points then for the Red Bull team. Of course, Red Bull, I don't think, have won a constructors' championship since season 1 of Gold, then almost 4.5 years ago. Goodness gracious me. Kick Sauber, then, of course, the champions from a couple of seasons ago, of course, when it was headed up by Sam Swift Ninja. Bravitt has got the honours now, of course, in the Kick Sauber, so all tense affair for the Kick Sauber. But of course, Sweet also scored some decent points as well. I think that's going to be quite a decent team for this season. Aston Martin on 12 points, then 2 points for the Alpine team. So basically, only 6 drivers have scored in the Gold Championship then, without reserves, and only 4 constructors has scored in the Constructors Championship as well, which is quite incredible something. However, the joint constructors, which of course adds up gold, silver, and bronze's championship points and all that stuff, this is not as straightforward. Red Bull leads the joint constructors by 64 points, 5 points in front of the Aston Martin team. I thought it was more than that. Then Haas in third position, strong start for Haas. Ferrari on 47 points, 1 point in front of the Kick Sauber on 46, and there's a big old gap already between the bottom and the top half and the bottom half. McLaren, Mercedes, 22 points adrift of the Kick Sauber on 24 points. They are 10 points over the Alpine Renault team. Last time we're going to see Renault as an engine supplier in ALR Grand Prix racing for the foreseeable future, sadly. We've got Mercedes AMG Petronas, or Mercedes-Benz AMG, on 12 points. 6 points for the Racing Bull team, and only 5 points for the Willies teams at the back, at the bottom of the field, unfortunately. And that's unfortunate. Also, I forgot to upload the track preview, which is also shocking stuff indeed. By the way, let me know if the stream's a bit on the flaky side, because my Streamlabs has lost all its settings, which is a good job. I came home early today. Otherwise, that would have been a bit of a major panic indeed. Then Sebastian's not racing, unfortunately, because he is not very well. We are still waiting on Pease and Percy to get in the lobby as well. Of course, Sebastian not very well, unfortunately. And I think that someone else wasn't very well last night either, and they had to drop out, unfortunately. It's that super flu going around at the moment, isn't it? Ayrton, we're back, baby. Then, of course, Ayrton is racing tonight. I think that this is only the second time in ALR history we've got 2 brothers racing in the same race. The other race, I hear you ask, it was Japan Season 6, and it was also with the Hiltons as well. So good stuff indeed. I believe that's the only time we've ever had two brothers racing in the same race. And if I'm wrong, please correct me as well. We've got a Peacock in the chat. Oh, that's me. And then we've also got Ed as well, who 76 or 7-6 then. I have no idea. To be honest, I don't understand the meme at all, but that's just me personally. But there we go. We just wait for three more drivers, and Knowlesy, who's on the side of the football pitch at the moment, saying good luck to the Gold Championship as well, which is all good stuff indeed. Then right. Let me get rid of all me bits on here then, and we'll get on with the show, shall we? So oh gosh, I was going to say something, and I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yes, of course we've now got all the livery reveals, haven't we, over the next month or two? I am looking forward to that. I think this is probably more exciting than the championship itself, isn't it? Where the cars get to reveal their liveries, and I do like to see a reveal in livery. Goodness gracious me! I'm really looking forward to the Cadillac, obviously, because they're doing their livery at halftime at the Super Bowl, which is pretty cool as well. I'm looking forward to the delivery reveal of Aldi as well. I know we've kind of had a concept livery, but I'm expecting something a bit more than that concept livery. Maybe we might get to see a bit of silver back. Oh, well, we've already got silver with the Mercedes, haven't we? But we might get to see a bit of silver, of course, when they were dominant in the Le Mans category, or the well, Le Mans. It is called, yeah, it was Le Mans, wasn't it? The Le Mans category, of course, with Tom Christensen and all them Muttley bunch said, which would be quite cool to see, wouldn't it? And what other liveries am I looking forward to? I'm not really too sure, to be honest. I think those are the two that really stand out, because they're going to be completely different, aren't they, compared to last season? And I've got to say, the Audi team kit is absolutely splendid. I really want one of those Adidas coats, because they look beautiful. They really do indeed. Then JS saying Ayrton for the win. Then Ayrton's only raced in one race in gold, and that was I think that was 12th position, I believe, in the Japanese Grand Prix back in season 6 there. So if Ayrton will be hoping for a top 10 tonight, maybe more than. Of course, also the other Hilton had a bit of a difficult comeback drive last week there. Very difficult indeed. I'm not laughing, I'm coughing. I pressed the wrong button. I hope I haven't muted myself there. Big shout out to Emerson, who went on a successful date on Saturday. Oh my gosh! And it wasn't with me. I'm absolutely devastated. Well, good luck, Emerson, and of course, a fantastic stuff indeed. I'm a little hurt though, because I thought I was his only love. Ayrton saying, and going to sandbag, not fair on everyone else. Said, absolutely. That's what I do in bronze on Tuesday nights as well. Also, we got another returning driver tonight. If anyone watched ALR from season 7, where we wasn't called ALR, we was actually called HDE, we got a Julian who is returning to action as well. Of course, Julian with a Grand Prix win and 2 pole positions to his name, and 4 podiums as well. And but unfortunately, he had 6 retirements in his 15 starts there, and 85.5 points were scored, which really upsets me. Of course, I think we had to give out half points when the lobby crashed halfway through, and no one wanted to start again, unfortunately. Well, we've only got one Ferrari, so once again, the Ferrari are going to be hamstrung by basically none of their full-time drivers turning up, which is pretty shocking indeed then. And I think that both Lights and Percy might be seeing their seats be vacated at the end of this one. Certainly Lights, because I don't think Lights has raced since the last time Oscar Piastri won an actual F1 race. But there we go then. Pot Stuff, good evening all, and good luck gold then. Good stuff indeed there for Pot Stuff. Of course, we'll be racing tomorrow night in silver, I believe. Milestones tonight then, of course, it would have been Percy's 125th Grand Prix start tonight, but he's gone MIA. We've also got a 70th Grand Prix start tonight for Brabant as well, which is all cool stuff indeed then. In terms of the history around this Shanghai International Circuit, is that what it's called? Possibly. This is our 11th run of the Chinese Grand Prix. Of course, we didn't race here last year, but we did race the year before, with pole position by Amulto and the winner by Troye and Knowlesy with the fast lap. All 3 of those drivers are no longer a part of the gold grid then. How long before lights out? Might get some beers in then. Well, we have got qualifying, so probably probably about 20 odd minutes, and so you've got a lot of time to get some beers in, I say. Unless you go to the shop and it's more than a 20-minute walk, then perhaps not. Unless you've got one of those beer carriers that delivers to your front door, which is something that I really want, but unfortunately I have to rely on my nephew. But by the way, that's thank you very much, Smithy. Of course, we're going to go with 18. I don't have Discord on my other laptop yet because I am slow as I'm as slow as possibly a Cadillac this season. But anyway, just looking back at the history then, Immortal got pole position last time we was here 2 seasons ago, a 1:30.124 for Immortal. Immortal's not racing tonight. A couple other drivers are not racing as well. There's some horrific world events going on at the moment over in Iran. So we wish those guys safe and sound. Goodness gracious me. So I think Immortal's not racing tonight, and we seen. Hang on, let me get my book up again. Immortal's not racing tonight, and I don't think Medranoff is not racing either then. So yes, hopefully that you're all safe and sound. That's more important than anything else there. As goodness gracious me, tiny things please, tiny minds, Sean, says Cirrus Mushroom there. I have no idea what he's talking about. Hopefully it's nothing untoward then, but then again, you never know with that mushroom. Right, where am I? Of course, like the stream and all that kind of jazz, and also pull a comment on the non-live chat then, because it helps the Google Analytics or something like that. I keep going on top messages, which is a bit annoying. So Julian then is going to be not first out on circuit. First out on circuit is the Haas car. No, then it's Van Von who's out first, but it's not actually. It's Emerson Hilton then, of course, fresh from his dates then, as they're going down into turn 6, I believe this is where look, Danny Ricciardo lit the stamp and sent it all those many moons ago back in 2018. Gosh, I feel so old saying that. Goodness gracious me. I've got a lot of notifications coming up now, so if I just swipe and get rid of them all, fantastic. I apologise to anyone that's desperately trying to get hold of me, but you shouldn't be trying to get hold of me at this time because we all know that I am now working. So Hilton hoping to get some points on the board. Then only 18 cars racing tonight. There was only 17 last night, of course, but nevertheless, a goal has been a problem for attendance, hasn't it, over the past couple of seasons or so, hasn't it? But of course, silver and bronze has definitely been flourishing, hasn't it? So it's really cool stuff. Maybe we should just stick with those two championships as I come on to the back straight. It is the longest back straight of the calendar. It's 1.2 or 1.5 meters long. 1.2 or 1.5 kilometers long, and I don't really know which one it is because, of course, I've been watching the season previews and I heard that random number, but I can't remember from what season or what track it was there. But of course, you're all here for my knowledge and information, which of course is second to none. Who doesn't even know which is the longest back straight on the calendar over the grid hackers as well. And of course, Hilton there is about to start. Well, E. Hilton we should call him, because of course his brother A. Hilton is also in as well then. I've got to say, it's very much Back to the Future in terms of when the Schumacher brothers were racing in Formula 1 all those many moons ago. Of course, up until 2006, I think Ralf Schumacher raced until 2007 as well, before he was unceremoniously kicked from the Toyota lineup. And of course, in came Isaac Glock. It certainly was indeed. Of course, I think Glock had a pretty stellar career, to be fair. I think he did really well in that Toyota. But Toyota, one of a number of car manufacturers over the years that never got F1 right, unfortunately, did they? Of course, you can go throughout the whole of history. Of course, Peugeot is another one. Of course, even though there's more of an engine supplier. Hopefully, we're not the same for Audi and Cadillac. Do I have a good feeling about Audi? Not at the moment, unfortunately. But of course, I like to be wrong. I also like to think that Cadillac will also get their act together as well, because they're going to build their own engines. Is it 2030 or 2031? Of course, that's still 4 years ago, isn't it? Goodness me. I'm looking forward to the new season of F1. Then 22 cars on the circuit. We should, on the grid, we should have 26, in my opinion. But maybe we should even bring back pre-qualifying and have all the have-a-go heroes from yesteryear. The likes of 40, the likes of Pacific, the likes of Simtech, which I was a personal favourite of mine. Hilton crossed the line on the 33.5. That's about 3 seconds slower than our previous pole position around here back 2 seasons ago then. But that, I think, is a lot about the track being green then. Here comes Julian then, of course, returning to ALR after umpteen seasons out then, as Van Vaughn has gone fastest and 8/10 of a second in front of the double world champion Hilton. Then Julian goes faster still by almost half a second, 6/10 of a second in the Scuderia Ferrari. Unfortunately, Ferrari have got no full-time drivers on the grid, which is sad, isn't it? Which means they're not going to score again, unfortunately. Flippy out on circuit, the Aston Martin 4th position last week, as we got Delano going at third fastest at half a second in front of the double world champion Hilton at the moment. Now, of course, the bronze champion from season 3, and he was bronze champion because this gentleman in the commentary box was his teammate. Oh my gosh, what do I smell there? Something that comes out of a cow's rear. Quells coming down the long back straight. Hello to you, Indigo. Is this the longest longest straight on the F1 calendar, Indigo? I haven't done my homework, and I know it's either 1.2 or 1.5 kilometers long, but I can't remember if it's the longest straight. Quells goes third fast, but Bravitt has set the time so far in the kick sauber. That has been quickly eclipsed by Flippy, not Flippy Floppy, who I spoke to a few week ago, thinking it was Flippy. Shocking stuff indeed, and I, of course, also upset the admins as well. Right, where am I? Thank you very much to Car Racer. Give €10 donation. Thank you very much. Alex said Spain has the biggest straight. You should have a fight then. It says Serious Mushroom. Also told you likes no show. Yep. No, well, if it was my, I gotta be honest, if it was my way, Mushroom, he would be out the server personally. But that's because I'm a angry so and so, and I'm also ginger as well. Here's Legends, and I think that Legends wasn't very well last night. Out of the final turn then, and hopefully he's feeling better tonight. Then across the line goes 7 fastest at the moment now, 2/10 of a second, a quarter of a second away from 6th position Delano, as Lasos Cas then going second fastest. I'm just going to call him Villas for the time being, as I still can't pronounce his surname. I'm so sorry, my young sir. It is shocking stuff indeed then. A commentator that can't say names then, that's not very good, is it? Here comes Mehdi then, of course. Happy birthday to Mehdi then, and hopefully he can get a pole position then. I think he got pole position last week, didn't he? I don't know, I've slept since then, so we'll have to find out. Shame I can't race and go in more, Indigo saying, but Indigo had a great result last night. Did you go on the podium, Indigo? I'm sure I seen you on the podium. Unfortunately, I must admit I was in bed last night because I was really hungover. Right then, as we got to Jess saying, come on, Everson, boy, 3 seconds off, darling. We've also got Indigo saying, I never had a chance to talk to you last season, says Indigo. But you did talk to Alex, didn't you, last night, which is fantastic. Much more interesting than talking to me, I'm sure. Hello, Riley. Good evening to you. Las Vegas, 1.9 kilometers. 1.9 kilometers. And it's, oh my gosh, I forgot about Las Vegas. Shocking stuff indeed. In my defense, Indigo, I was watching a very old season review from 2006 or 7 or 8. So that is my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. But Las Vegas, 1.9, goodness gracious me, that's redonkulous, isn't it? So this, as Indigo's confirmed that this straight is 1.2 kilometers long then. What's the 1.5? Is that Azerbaijan then, do you reckon? I don't know then. Maybe, or it's, actually, that might be Fuji, which is Fuji. It is Fuji, isn't it? Fuji's 1.5, isn't it? There, I think I was. As many going pole position there by a tenth of a second, whilst I've been waffling away from circuits that are not even on the calendar anymore. Here comes Ayrton, then of course, lovely Ayrton Senna crash helmet tribute there, or is that more of a Lewis Hamilton inspired Ayrton Senna crash helmet there? Potentially. A good pub quiz question there. Legends is a good-looking guy. Goodness gracious me. Indigo is turned hacks on tonight then. Just because you're slow, Mushroom. Had the wrong setup then. Well, that is no surprise whatsoever. Oh, goodness me. I was his teammate last season and he gave me dodgy setup, so don't mention that. Good, yes, I must admit, I do love a bit of pub trivia, especially if F1 questions come on the board. but I like the random kind of F1 backs, like what's the longest straight then, of course, which is now Las Vegas. We've got to remember that little nugget, haven't we, when we do go to Las Vegas at the end of the year. It is on the calendar, isn't it? I think it's a part of the Wheel of Fortune, isn't it? Which next week it will be the Wheel of Fortune. What do I mean by that? We'll talk about that in a minute. As Ayrton goes 14th fastest there, a 33.7 so far for the former bronze Grand Prix winner. I think he won 2 or 3 races in bronze. Had Ayrton did, but unfortunately I haven't got my bronze spreadsheet up tonight, so we're going to have to just think about that one later on then. As always, Bushy says camera race then. So last race's pole position was actually Medi then going for his 3rd pole position, or 4th pole position of his career. Here's his teammate Marky. Remember last year that the Alpine team started off so well, didn't they? They did fall off a cliff, and as there was a lot of movement and match of drivers, almost similar to the real world of Formula 1, didn't they? Where Jack Doohan unfortunately got unceremoniously removed, and in come Colapinto, and then they was thinking about Paul Aaron as well. Personally, I would have tried Paul Aaron in the final couple of races, but then again, having said that, then we of course talk about how bad Helmut Marko was on Flavio Briatore about treating drivers badly, and then there's me saying put Paul Aaron in there. So I'm shocking, just like them too. Here comes Marko then coming out of the snail part of the circuit then. There's a lot of long turns around here, isn't this? The banked turn number 13, I believe it is. And now here is the straight then as we now power down. This is going to be the overtaken opportunity of the race, I believe. And we've also got DRS into turn 1 and 2 as well. Marky with the Max Verstappen inspired crash helmet then, breaking down into 2nd gear. Back end is wagging like a happy dog. Out of turn 15. 15's a nothing corner, really. I don't think I've seen anyone crash there. We did see Mark Webber retire there in 2013, I believe it was, after he had a nightmare race. Marky going 6th fastest there, about just over a 2nd and a 10th away from his teammate at the moment. Just shows how incredible his teammate is at the moment. Brabham out on circuit, going to set another bite to the, is now going for that bite to show. Or my front wing by accident, can't remember what it was, says Cirrus Mushroom. Excuses, Mushroom. I don't believe that for a second there. Man, your talents would never alter your front wing accidentally. To us, when I first started watching F1, they had to come in the pits to alter their front wing, didn't they? It was in 2010 where they started. It was 2009, wasn't it, where they was able to alter the front wing from the cockpit. Equals has left the session. Maybe he's disgusted by my insinuated that oh my goodness me, Brabham is very much racing a shopping trolley there. My word. And I've got to say, there's a bit of a buckaroo going on. Sweet going over to 6th position. That is a sweet lap indeed there for the 2nd Kick Sauber. Of course, Kick Sauber 2nd in the Constructors' Championship. Delano looking strong in 8th position. Lovely to see, and great to see there for the Mercedes team as well. Have not scored points so far. Marquis was in the high echelons of the top 6. He's dropped down into 9th position now. Emerson Hilton back on a lap. I think his finishes lap there was Legende 400 a second away to one. What about Chazza then in that 2nd Williams? He's going in 17th position road there. Pease is still in the pits as well. Oh, I got a notification. Good stuff. That's a YouTube video for later on then as well, for me to watch whilst I'm getting my shut eye then, as we're on the short straight there before we come up into the very long turn 11 and 12, I believe it is, or turn 12 and 13. And Pachaz has gone fast as an intermediate 2 there. This circuit, I think, is very much a tire burner, isn't it? This circuit gives me a lot of bad memories, to be honest, as Flippy has gone pole position there, but where am I? Pole position there as Pease has left the session as well. This is not ideal. 2 cars have left the session with 5.5 minutes to go. Flippy's on pole position by a 10th of a second. Look at the outside tire. That's unusual. Before accelerating away and coming into turn 16 as well. And here he is, flicks it out. Good gracious me, this is a PG show. Chazza across the line, 7 fastest out. Goodness me, Chazza is getting back to his best. And remember, he got pole position on his debut in the Japanese Grand Prix of 2005. I'm like Crofty, he's running off the last time that Fernando Alonso scored a win. Vessier currently on the 33.6 at the moment there. Vessier very much in the heart of the midfield madness and silver. He is in gold tonight, who's made more appearances in gold than some of the drivers have. Scraps got disconnected then, says Equals. Can you get back in, my good sir? Shocking behaviour, says KD. Absolutely. To be honest, this is why we've moved gold to Monday, you see, then I'm very much a rebel on Monday night. I've got real bad indigestion. I've had too much chicken again. Nameless going 9th fast at the moment, and Peas is back in the session. Phew. That lovely, beautiful white Red Bull livery, looking very lovely in the Chinese summer as well, sunshine as well there. As Vilash then, who's on the more traditional Red Bull then, so we've got 2 different liveries of Red Bull tonight, so that's going to put me on my toes, that is a sure fact. That's not ideal because I've got me Homer Simpson slippers on tonight then, and I don't want to ruin Homer's head. Currently, drivers, I think I'm surprised that Kieran, of course, making his first appearance tonight for the McLaren Mercedes. Looking a bit behind the 8 ball at the moment, Kieran is there. Down in 16th position. Into the pits comes Flippy. Now, of course, that gravel trap very much haunts any of the Lewis Hamilton fan club from back in 2007. Goodness gracious me. What's Vestier doing? Vestier then is on an in-lap, so I'm going to watch Medi now, who, of course, is on pole position back in the Australian Grand Prix. 5/10 of a second down the first sector time, so that's not looking too clever there, unfortunately, for Medi. Equals is back in the session. Phew, goodness me, I was getting worried then. The Everson and the Everson Ayrton fan club is incoming. Goodness me, says a JSA. Oh, I cannot wait then, which means that there's going to be more banter throwing the Hilton's way then. Of course, I will be comparing both of them to the Schumacher brothers, probably more from 2005 rather than the highest peak of the Schumacher era in 2001. Look at Medi, he's run out of deployment. I reckon there's a technical problem that Alpine, because Medi was usually is very quick there. I wonder if his ERS has been stuck on then or something like that. So this is going to have to, I reckon he might have to abandon his time, come back in the garage there for on a new set of boots and have another bite of the cherry. Into the pits he comes now. We've got a lot of out. Oh, he's always doing the Hamilton wall of death there. It wasn't a chicken, it was the 10 pies you had before. Who ate all the pies? Ruthless saying, what's up, guys? And of course, Ruthless returning back to the grid and the paddock, which is cool to stop and see that. Cool to see indeed that. Here comes Julian Sharp, then out of turn 3 then, and turn 4. And you can see the back end is trying to escape the Ferrari. Of course, no regular Ferrari drivers in here once again, which means that as it stands, there'll be no Ferrari drivers scoring points again. And that car is looking very unsteady on the rear there. Very similar to the real world Ferrari there. Of course, let's hope that the 2026 Ferrari is a lot better than the 2025 Ferrari. And hopefully we'll see Hamilton back to his best as well, because Leclerc really very much outperformed Lewis Hamilton last season. Albeit I do think that this might be Hamilton's last season, unfortunately, in Grand Prix racing, which is very sad indeed. That pause the stream, gonna make a cover, says Serious Mushroom there. Yeah, I got a minute. Let me do that now. By the way, is the stream okay? Because I am a bit paranoid there. Ayrton out on circuit as well. Schlupp on the Schlupp, that's a football player. Julian on the back straight as well. May have a very distant toe. Hamilton, that Sauber is weaving far too much for Julian's liking, I'm sure. Break it down then, into second gear then. Of course, he got 60% harvested left for Julian. This will be Julian's last bite of the cherry for a qualifying lap here. Into the final turn as well. Understeer, the car is not compliant out of 16 across the line. And it is 4th fastest on the grid. On his return then, Julian there, 2-time pole sitter, is 4th on the grid then. 1 minute to go. Bravitt starts us up. Van Von is a 10th of a second down in the first split time. Don't worry, Van Von fans. I'm wondering then if he's going to, I think he might have saved the tyres ever so slightly for the opening sector of that lap. Ayrton has just started his lap then. It's all or nothing now for Ayrton. Where am I looking? I think I'm looking at Van Von. Second intermediate split time is coming up now. 52 hundredths of a second there, up on his previous best. That's not of the all-time best of this session. That is up on his previous best for Van Von. But look at the amount of battery. You can see the telemetry over the head of Van Von. And now on the power, he has got 2 more decisions to make then for Van Von. DOS, you hear the beep in the driver's ear. And you can see reaching 207, 208 miles an hour as he comes down the gears into second gear. 50 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour before getting back on the loud pedal. There is one more decision to make for Van Von. Can he get on the front row of the grid? Checker flag has fallen. Medi and Villash have missed the checker flag across the line, and Van Von does not improve his position there and stays 6th fastest on the grid there, unfortunately, as I think that's Mehdi who missed the, oh, and that's not pole position there, that final lap, then he didn't have enough time, unfortunately. Sweet goes 7 fastest, Delano stays in at 10 fastest now, on board then with Flippy then, I'm looking for a kick Sauber, I'm looking for Brabant out of the fight, he's invalidated, Brabant's invalidated, he's going to be furious as the former silver champion there. Not ideal at all. Markey outside the top 10 at the moment. Markey gets into the top 10 by the skin of his nose comb there. 2/10 of a second in front of Delano there. Good 17 then. Emerson on a quick lap as well. I think I'm looking for, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the Williams of Chaza in the very high echelons of 8th position there. Good stuff indeed then. As Jeffers retired from the, Julian's retired from the race. And oh, Flippy then accelerates out the final turn and Flippy improves, lowers the benchmark, is on pole position by 0.3 of a second there. Emerson Hilton there coming into the final turn as well. Then Kieran has got it to 8th position there. So, but Kieran a little beyond the 8th ball here. Emerson stays 15th on the grid then. What about that Haas behind? That's Pease having to 11th position. Great show. What about Legends? Legends goes into 15th position as well. Nameless is the final one and goes 8th fastest on the grid. But it is Flippy. Pole position number 1 of the season. Absolutely fantastic for himself and the Aston Martin team as well. They're going to be overjoyed with this result. They really are indeed. And that is Flippy's career. Hang on, where is he? Second pole position of his career for Flippy here at the Chinese Grand Prix. This is the first time that Flippy's raced around China in ALR Grand Prix race as well. Hats off to the Aston Martin team. They'll be loving that, won't they? Here's the final classification from the Chinese Grand Prix by 0.2 of a second. Goodness gracious me. You could almost fit my rear in that gap. That's incredible. Second on the grid is Villash once again showing his muscle down. And I think the Ferrari are going to be very interested in that man's services. Surely he is doing fantastic. Mehdi didn't get his final time in the end. Is that cost him a pole position today? Let's find out. He'll be hoping for a better race though for Mehdi after. It was a bit of a difficult one last week there. And then we got Julian on his return to ALR in 4th position with Brabant in 5th. He also made a mistake on his final run there as well. Where am I? Holy flip, says Equals. Let's get last to first, says Ayrton. I'm hoping for that achievement from Xbox many moves ago. I should say Xbox. Xbox record that. Well done, Hilton Ladson, says JS. And of course, we've also got Delano saying evening. Good evening to you, Delano. I love your meme in the gold chat then. Sadly, I couldn't heart it because my phone would have broke then. Some great time there, Ladson, says Pot Stuff. I must admit, I hazard a guess that Pot Stuff will also be flying some times tomorrow night as well, which would be pretty superb stuff indeed then for Potts, who I think is going to be one of the major players in silver. A bit of a difficult race in Australia, but Australia is a very interesting track. It's not traditional, is it? As this man here says that. Oh, my goodness me. Hang on a minute, I've lost my cup. Come on, Sweet. Haas, lads, and of course, the joint construction is very important then, but I must say, Ferrari are not going to score again here tonight, and so that is very disappointing indeed, unfortunately. For the Scuderia, hopefully, though, that's not a sign of things to come in the real F1 as well. Of course, I'm very much looking forward to this month, and of course, we've got some liveries coming up, which is cool. Did anyone catch the Audi in Barcelona? Of course, it was meant to be behind closed doors, but of course, you still had some beautiful, very long shot of the Audi. The Audi engine sounded quite nice. Obviously, it's not as nice as the V10, but that's because I'm old. That's all I say about that. I said bring back V12s personally, but of course, that's never going to happen. I think the last V12 engine was it Ferrari actually in 1995 when I think they was the only team that was resisting the change to V10s, weren't they? When the engine size was reduced, wasn't it, after that horrific season in 1994. Right, here we go. Only one driver on the hard tyres. That is Legends or Legende. Down in 15th position there. So Williams going to cut their losses here and go for a split strategy. Interesting stuff indeed. Pease has got a problem. He's been left on the line. Oh, gosh, there's how Pease and the Haas. And I think that Pot Stuff is going to be bewildered by that issue from Pease. Hopefully Pease can get himself sorted out for the race itself. Flippy, pole position number 2 of his career. But there's contact between Flippy and Village there, and goodness me, the two the drivers on the front row of the grid have had major issues. And look, they've lost. Oh gosh, now that's a lovely shot of the paddock there. But Village and Flippy have come together on the formation lap. That is not ideal, and I think that Flippy is going to be bewildered as well by that. What has happened there between the two drivers there? We'll have to find out then, but that is not ideal. Not ideal at all. Oh my word, then. Dom, can we all say happy birthday to Emerson? Happy birthday, Emerson, albeit it is in May. How do I know that? Because, of course, the only reason I remember that is because, of course, Emerson born in May rhymes with something else. Medi in third. Julian is in 4th position on his return to ALR Grand Prix Racing. Brabbit in 5th position. 6th is Van Von with 7th position is Sweet. Nameless in the 8th position. Lovely helmet, by the way, from Kieran in 9th position. Oh, good stuff indeed then. 10th position is Chazza. Medi's also had an issue on the grid as well. 11th position is Pease, who is at the moment stuck on the grid, unfortunately. Cold tyres now, says Potstuff. That's not ideal. 13th position, Equals. Love that helmet as well. Oh, I do love a good helmet. Delano in 14th position with Legende in 15th. Vesper in 16th there. Emerson in 17th, who is not in the pink racing ball there, shameful. And then Ayrton in 18th position. It's an all Hilton row 8 there on the grid then for the Hiltons. Let's see how they do in the Grand Prix itself there. We've got a lovely shot here from Julian, and as I mentioned, making his return to Grand Prix racing here tonight there. Good stuff indeed then, and good luck to all the drivers on the grid. I've poked myself in the eye. That's not good at all. Here in the land of the rising sun, which is not the land of the rising sun, that is Japan, maybe in a week's time. Sean, get your geography right. 3, 4, 5 lights then, and let's go. That's a very quick release of the drivers on these machines, and it'll go into turn 1, and Flippy keeps the lead then. What about Village? They're going up the inside then, but they've all made it through safe and sound by the looks of things. And as Flippy goes wide, that's going to allow Village back up the inside. Have they all gone through safe? They have indeed then, as Medi is fighting with the Ferrari of Julian, as we got Brabbit in 5th position as well. It's all as you were from 1st to 6th position. As we go down into 3rd and 6th as well, Flippy is defended as that Red Bull's all over the gearbox of the Aston Martin driver. Julian's up the inside there of the Alpine of Medi then. Flippy somehow repels the attack of the Red Bull as Medi's repelling the attack of the Ferrari as well. And now P's up 4th position. He's taken off like a scolded cat in that Haas car. Incredible stuff indeed. Sweet down 2 positions. Marky up 2 positions as well. Chaz has had a terrible start in that second Williamson. Of course, it's his teammate who's on the hard tyres of Legenda. He's also dropped out of position as well. And Ayrton's in front of his brother Ayrton there. Yellows, and take it home, Torquay boy, says Dom then. Yellows indeed then, as we go on the back straight as well. I think the Torquay are in the National League, aren't they? Or is am I a couple of seasons beyond that? All I know is, come on, the mighty Yeovil. Down the back straight and 1.2 metres this back straight. Look at Medi, he's having a sniff then, as Village then gets his defensive skills on the prowl then, as we go into complete lap 1. The gap is 6/10 of a second. DRS will be enabled now. Oh, he's going outside the track limits there. That's going to be a slap on the wrist there for the race leader. That one completed. Look at the gap there, almost half a second as well. Already defended, and then of course slipstreaming all the way down into turn 1. It is going to be that long back straight, which is going to be the major factor here then, as goodness gracious me, as there's brotherly love going on in the back, as JS has just said. Goodness gracious me. Flippy leads. Second is Village. Third is Medi, with Julian in 4th. Brabbit in 5th position. Van Bod is in 6th. Pease is right behind his teammate now in 7th position. And the big stop of turn 6 all fine and dandy at the moment. Nameless in 8th position. I thought that was a different car then. And 9th position is Sweet, with Markey in 10th. Kieran in the 2nd. McLaren is down in 11th position, but then Kieran is struggling at the moment. National League South, son. Oh, I apologise. Goodness me. I've already upset the locals. That's not very good, is it? I might be having to get carried out of here then, but then again, I'm in China. Flippy then, the short straight then into the sector 2 then. 7/10 of a second is not enough. Village is going to have a sniff. Of course, Village scored 5th position on his debut for the Aston Martin team, didn't he? He's now in the Red Bull here tonight there, and looking very strong indeed. Down the back straight he comes, and this is going to be an overtaking fest. having said that, there hasn't been much overtaken so far. Apart from P's out forward, apart from Chaz down 4, everyone else is very much status quo. Here comes Villas, he's having a look then. Of course, him and Flippy make contact on the opening lap, on the opening formation lap then, but goodness gracious me, then Villas takes the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. However, Flippy will now have DRS then. Now DRS had got lap 2 completed, and now Villas is at the fast of the race. Of course he is, because he's got DRS and Flippy's all over the Red Bulls. We go into turn 1. My goodness gracious me. And then we got Medi, who's also in the vicinity as well. Everyone up to Legende is in DRS range. Legende is on the hard tires, of course, so that is going to be very interesting. Good evening to you, Shadows. Good luck, Dylan, for this win then. Doing a great job, commentator. Yellows. Yellows indeed then. And that is not yellows for Jordan, that is yellows for Torquay. Out of turn 6 we come in. So Village leads. This is the first time I think the Village is led a Grand Prix in ALR, I believe, then, unless of course he led last week then, which of course I'm completely wrong. Look at the harvesting going on. The rain lights are flashing on the rear cars here, of course, and that means that they're harvested and just trying to get some energy down that back straight, because that is going to be the crucial part. What's happened? Oh no! And Hilton is off the circuit. He's recovered now, but I'm not sure if he's got damage to that front nose cone then. Hopefully we can get off board of him in a minute. Yes, we can. No, he's okay then. His end plates are still pointing in the right direction, but Hilton on his return to Grand Prix racing there, not having the best of returns there. But of course, remember that he's got to get back into the swing of things, hasn't he? The Flippy up the inside track position there, and it's retaken a Village, and this is going to be a yo-yo effect then for the opening couple of laps around here. Sweet having a look up the inside of Nameless there, but Nameless repels the attack as well. Everyone in the top 14 has DRS at the moment there. Vessier and Legende does not have DRS, and once again we've completed another lap. Look at the slipstreaming going on here then. My goodness gracious me. We're going to be thinking about pit stops in just a jiffy then. Come on, Ayrton, then. Come on, Emerson. Turn that frown upside down then. Christ, as Emerson from JS as well. Goodness gracious me. Hilton is all the way down in 18th position at the moment there. I must say it's a very difficult start for this championship, isn't it? Go from Australia to China then. Of course, Australia was very much tyre limited track there, especially that front left tyre there. It really caused all kinds of anarchy, and drivers who was able to stay on at one stop was the quickest way around. What about this circuit? We're only on lap 4 out of 28 now. I think the medium to the hard is definitely the quicker strategy, but you've got to keep those tyres in the operating window. In the Pirelli era, of course, it's been very much about looking after those tyres there. I say go back to the Bridgestone era, but then again, I'm old and decrepit then. Evening to you, Halsey, then. Great to have you along for the stream then. I was asking earlier on, Halsey, which is the longest straight in F1 on the calendar then. We had Morris say it was Las Vegas 1.9 then. It is, and then he also said that this straight was 1.2 kilometres. I couldn't decide if it was 1.2 or 1.5. I needed your help earlier on, Halsey. As Kieran is into the top 10, he passes. And who's that? Sweet is also fighting with Nameless as well. Was there contact between the two cars? Well, there might have been, but nevertheless, Nameless is through. Kieran's broken into the top 10 as well, and that McLaren Mercedes there. But Kieran, of course, getting used to life in Grand Prix racing in gold, of course, tonight there. What on earth is going on here, says JSN. Emerson needs to focus on the rave and not to book any more dates with that bird then. Goodness gracious me. Hopefully it's not a real bird then, because otherwise we might have to call the police, because that is disgraceful behaviour indeed. Aren't you? You aren't old, King. Oh, I wish. Well, to be honest, technically I'm not, because I'm still waiting to grow my first beard. My first beard, goodness me. Anyway, my first chin hair, anyway. On board once again with Flippy now. He's trying to extend the stint now, trying to extend the lead now over Villash, who is second at the moment. Medi in third, Brabant in fourth, and Julian is now dropped down to fifth, whilst I've been waffling away. Sixth position is Van Bottom with P seventh, Nameless eighth, Sweet to ninth, and Kieran completes the top 10. Of course, he is the top 10 that scores points these days. Not of course back when I first started watching F1, when it was only the top 3. Of course, I joke, it was the top 6, wasn't it? Goodness gracious me, I'm not that old, I don't think. I must admit, actually, when in the first race, was it the top 6 that scored, or was it the top 5? For some reason I've got the top 5 from somewhere, but then again, I might be making it up as I go along. That's why I'm stood up, you see, because That's what I'm stood up, you see, because otherwise I'll just be muffled if I was sat down. Flippy is defending again from Village there. Look at that, locking up the inside tyre once again. Big bushy beard. Oh, but. Oh, gosh, there. Oh, there's a Vessier's through, passes the Legende. We've also got Nameless swapping position as well with Sweet, who is back up into 8th position. That's very uncharacteristic manoeuvre into turn 16. I love it. Of course, keep those battles coming in then. Lap 6 out of 28 here. Back at the front, Sweet is now 1.2 seconds out drift of Peas, which means he's out of DRS range, and that could be costly for how this one goes then. Great big bushy beard, the greater good. Oh, didn't catch those swans then. It was just the one swan, actually. I do love Hot Fuzz, basically because it's from my neck of the woods. On the inside goes Kieran. Not to quite then. There's a Nameless there. Repels the attack nicely indeed. Then, of course, Kieran might have been going back to Daniel Ricciardo in 2018, maybe, against Bottas there, of course, where he licked the stamp and sent it. One of my more fonder memories. Halsey, China's 1.2. I thought Baku was the longest, to be honest, says Halsey. Oh, we've got a challenge for F1 knowledge. I love it. To be honest, I completely forgot about Baku in Las Vegas, which is shocking stuff, but goodness me. In my defense, I haven't really got any. I'm just getting it all good. Shocking stuff indeed. But yes, I must admit, Baku in Vegas, and that's going to be interesting. I would love to know what that is, to be fair. As I thought it might have been 1.5 there, but that was, of course, Fuji back in 2008 then. So I'm about, what, 12 years behind everyone else? So that's not ideal, is it? How's everyone's Mondays been? I'm currently making steak and chips. Ooh, goodness me, you're making me frothing at the mouth. That doesn't mean I got rabies, by the way. Up to 9th position goes Nameless. Kieran in 10th position, well, they're still fighting tooth and nail here. But look at this, Nameless is now a second out of the DRS detection zone. Sweet, here comes Kieran. And look at that there with no DRS there. Nameless cannot defend. Kieran now up into 9th position. He's starting to come through the field. P's all over his teammate Van Von here. Are we going to see a bit of team orders there? Remember, we've seen team orders in silver last week there, of course, where Knowlesy let teammate Kiki through, which I must admit I was surprised by, being very early in the season to have in team orders there. But goodness me, those two drivers have a worth of knowledge there, and of course both of the Aston Martin drivers did want to win then, which is what it's all about, I suppose, isn't it? Oh goodness me, Baku I'm sure is 2.2, so Las Vegas is 1.9 for from Morris House. So 2.2 Baku is it? Ooh, I love it. I got to screenshot that because I got to remember that for when we do get to Baku. I must admit, I can't remember if Baku's even on the calendar, or if it's one of those random races. Of course, next week we will be doing the Wheel of Fortune or the Wheel of Misfortune, depending on which circuit you want there. Very exciting stuff indeed, of course, where we got 3 circuits on the board, and of course we got to spin that wheel, and whichever one is picked, then we'll be racing on that one. And of course, that's the same for gold, silver, and bronze there. Of course, we have 3 separate wheels, which will be at the beginning of each broadcast there, and whatever race you get, you gotta go with it there as well. Goodness me, I've lost so many comments out there as well then. While I've had a beer, Dom, just making some Hunter's chicken now with a glass of wine. Oh, lovely stuff indeed there. I hope it's red wine. Oh, what's happened? There's an issue, and Van Von is off the circuit. The 2 Haas cars have come together. Good gracious me. And oh my goodness me, Komatsu is going to be beside himself, because that is not ideal. There's damage to the Haas car, and I'm surprised that's not a VSC, because the marshal is going to have to be out there and cleaning up the debris. Versier is lost out to Legende as well, and my word, that the 2 Haas drivers in only their second race in as teammates have come together, and my word, I must say that Van Von, we do not know, we know that Pease is right behind his teammate, but coming together that as Pease got damage, that's both Haas drivers that have come together, I believe. And that is a major problem for the Haas team. Haas have not scored in the opening race so far, and this is going to really hamstring them for getting more points as well. I'm really interested to know what is going to happen there. I think Emerson needs to have a good, long, hard look at himself. He absolutely does, doesn't he? He's a shambolic racing driver, isn't he? So, says me, who took out my teammate in Brazil several seasons ago. Then, but of course, we're not talking about me tonight. Van Von there is coming back to the pit lane as well. Hassan says, a serious question. Haas on Haas crime there. Goodness me. Scared me, Sean. Jumped on the spot there. I apologise. Sean, that sounds like a good idea. I like that wheel. I wish it was my idea, but it's not. I just steal other people's ideas. I think, where's Pease? He's dropping down the order. Van Von is into the pits now. As we've also got Brabbit, who is... Oh, my goodness me! As Medi and Brabbit are fighting for position. This is for the final podium. And my goodness me, Medi is forcing a Brabbit out wide. Brabbit's going up the inside. He takes third position. Yes, he does. But I think that Medi is going to be on the outside. He's going to use some urge deployment, but I think that Brabbit's got the high ground. Just about. And Brabbit is up into third position there. Of course, Kimi Räikkönen tried to go on the outside there in 2012 and just understeered off the road because it was full of marbles. Out of the pits now comes Van Von, a new nose cone. He's got over the white line there. Yellow flag is for Van Von for some reason. I don't know why. But goodness gracious me, Van Von is going to have to hope for a safety car now. I'm surprised that wasn't a VSC, to be fair, because there's debris strewn all over the circuit then. Goodness gracious me. I like the racing balls in a silver. Lowell says, Cameron, whoops, I almost timed serious rush about there. Emerson is at last. He's now up to 17th position there. Emerson is, oh, goodness gracious me. I got to say, I was going to say, let's hope we don't get a nosebleed there. But, of course, Emerson trying to recover after a spin earlier on then. Medi locking up the outside tyre. Currently, Flippy leads the way then, but we've had less overtakes for the lead in the last couple of laps or so. I'm wondering if Villas is just sitting there thinking about what his next move is going to be. Maybe go for the undercut. Look at that gap between Sweet and Julian. The top five have broken away then. We've still got those pit boards, haven't we, there, just being hung out for those drivers there. They need all the information they can get in a Grand Prix like this, because it could be anyone's ball game. The serious mushroom. Ayrton better than Emerson. Goodness gracious me then. Keep your comments coming in, ladies and gents. There, I must admit, I do feel for Emerson. He's getting a lot of grief in that comment section. I love it. Keep coming in. In the comments, I mean, goodness me, get your minds out the gutter, everyone. So, let's take stock. We're on lap 10 out of 28 now. Flippy leads the way by half a second from Villas. Then we got Brabbit in third, Medi in fourth, Julian on his return in fifth position. Lovely stuff indeed. Sweet in sixth position. We got Pease, who's got some pace, but he's got damage on the end plate now of the Haas team. It'd be interesting to know what happened there. We'll have to look at the footage after the Grand Prix. Eighth position is Kieran. I love this helicopter shot, by the way. It's absolutely beautiful stuff indeed. Shame I'm scared of heights, though. I'll never be in a helicopter. Ninth is Nameless. 10th edition is Marky. Equal's in 11th edition. He said scraps in qualifying. Equal's currently in 11th edition moment. Everyone is on the medium tyres apart from the Legende and Van Von, of course. Said more training for Emerson. Stay away from that girl. She's affected your F1 career. And Villas up into the lead of the Grand Prix. And Flippy down into second position there. Of course, Fernando Alonso overtaken Schumacher in 130R in 2005. And Alonso said, I knew that it would lift because he's got a family at home, which I must say is very cold from Fernando Alonso. It's into the pits comes Medi. I apologise, I'm getting too excited here right now. Into the pits comes Medi then. So we'll see. Oh goodness gracious me, it's Flippy's all over the gearbox now. In Villas said Medi is the first of the drivers on a scheduled start to come in the pits. He's going to have to, if he wants to get to the end, he has to do 16 laps there. Goodness gracious me. Women have ruined Emma. To be honest, women have ruined all of us, haven't they? I apologise, by the way, for that comment there. Please do not string me up because, yes, that's not very good indeed. And also, I think I might need to censor myself because I have a feeling that the admins are going to give me a slap on the wrist by the end of this one. Lap 11 out of 28 here. Flippy, hoping, holding them up now then, says Ruthless there. He is, isn't he? But now Flippy's lost the lead to Villas. Is Villas going to now scamper away, or is he going to just, try and look after those tyres. We mentioned that this might be a tyre limited circuit. Where has Medi come out then? He's out in 13th position there, 6 seconds away from the Williams driver. So he's got a lovely bit of clean air there, has Medi now. So let's see what he can do. He's already gained about a quarter of a second, half a second over Legende in 12th position. But Legende is on very old hard tyres. But Legende is going to be a major factor in this one later on in this stint. Lap 11. So I think as Kieran has now got past Pease and up into... Oh, as I've missed the lead. As up the inside goes Fliffy once again. I apologise. Poor directorship there. It's Icon from Monaco. Fliffy leads the Grand Prix. Village down into second now. Is anyone coming in the pits? No, they're all staying out there. So the top four stayed out. They do not believe those tyres are going to get to the end of the race then. Because surely, as Uzab darted into the pits, that is Sweet coming in the pits. They come in so quickly coming into that pits, doesn't it? It looks like they're going to hit someone off the road then. The is a JSR. Of course, they're throwing caution to the wind in the comments. I love it indeed then. I'm not reading it out there because I do want me a bar of chocolate at the end of the season. That's how they bribe me. Legende is up into 6th position now. Where's Medi? He's now 3 seconds away. So he's going to come across Legende in about a lap and a bit there. So we've got Sweet in. He's coming out of the pits now. He's got a 6-second buffer to himself and Medi. Nameless, followed by Emerson and Markey. Emerson is staying out there. Emerson's in the heart of the midfield then, of course, but he's on the medium tyres there. Ayrton's in the pits there. He's now come out onto the hard tyres as well. So Emerson there is now in the is in the battle for the midfield then at the moment then is the racing bull. Julian locking up the inside tyre in the front there of Brabbit then. Legende currently 13 seconds adrift then. We're just watching what Medi can do now. Markey is in the wheel tracks of Nameless as well. Pit stops are going to be crucial in this one. Equals has got past Delando there, and Delando, I'm wondering if he had a horrific acceleration there out of turn 6 there. On board with Equals now, and he is stuck behind the non-stop in Emerson. But I don't mean he's non-stop for the race then. Of course, the last person to do a non-stop in a race, I'm thinking Mika Salem 98, but that's wrong because there's someone else did it recently. Was it Gasly in Zandvoort? I do not know. Anyway, Equat's going up the inside. Then he is through, passes Emerson and through number 2, 13th position he goes. Nope, make that 12th. As into the pits comes Kieran now. So Kieran is the highest of the runners to pit on this lap then. Nee Candish is through, Medi is through and up into 6th position now. Oh, goodness gracious me then. I've done these chips brilliantly, lads, and I am proud of you, Dom. You, Sharon, says Serious Mushroom. Unlike Emerson, I'm not proud of that boy today. I'll make you a batch then. Get in, said Serious Mushroom. I don't even know. To be honest, I don't even know what chips are made these days. Do they still do McCain's, or am I just showing my age again there? Potentially. Or what's there? There's some what's it like French fry kind of things as well, which used to be from Iceland. I used to. That's why mums go to Iceland. Watching Julian, currently in 4th position. Look at the gap there. So 17 seconds there. Keep an eye on that gap because now Medi is going to take the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix when these 4 come into the pits then. And and I think that Medi would take the lead. The question will be, it'll be about how long tyre life he has got left in that Alpine car. Of course, Medi only finished 9th in the race last week. Look at that. I love that shot then. Look at how far away they are from the Alpine. The Alpine driver is not going to be in view, but he is gaining hand over fist, and the gap is down to 16 seconds now. There they are. Micro fries are the way forward, says Smithy Almighty. As into the pits comes Flippy. Look at him locking up those tyres. Yellow flags. What's happened? As there's a full course caution because there's problems. And that safety car. Is that going to cause problems for Julian? No, the safety car is teleported out. Oh, no. That is heartbreaking for the Ferrari driver. There's a safety car for some reason. What has happened out there? I do not know, to be honest. But we'll have to find out in just a jiff. But that safety car is ruined. Dude, that is awful. I think that's the worst luck I have seen on this game in a very long time. And Medi is going to take the de facto lead in this race in just a minute. But Medi leads, Flippy second, Villash in third position with Brabbit in fourth. Legende is in the pits now, half distance in this race. And can he get those medium tires to the end from here on in? Why is there a safety car? I do not know. But Jeffrey, I keep saying Jeffrey. It's because there's a player called Jeffrey Schlupp. That's my excuse anyway. But Julian is going to be beside himself here. That is awful. Fries to go, Sean, son. That's it, fries to go as well. It was fries to goes where they was on that red packet, wasn't there? And I must admit, I thought that Smithy was also figuring the same thing, where they came out to the red packet as well. But then again, is it the McCain oven fries or something like that, in an orangey bag, black and orangey bag there. My word. I don't know why there's a safety car. Hopefully someone can enlighten me. But perhaps I was too focused on me chips when I should be focusing on the race then. Micro fries. Who wants more chips then? To be honest, it goes with my body mushroom there. If only I was small. JS saying safety. It's all kicking off now. I'll stop for medium, says Serious Russia. Burn Mylander's just screwed. Julian says Shatters there. McCain's. That's it. McCain's. I must admit, Shatters. That is the most unluckiest thing I've seen. Well, Julian's now just dropped down into third for some reason. Goodness me, what's going on here? The safety car teleported in and out, didn't it? Which is very odd. Of course, we did have... Oh, no. We did have an issue in Australia where we had a Ferrari driving backwards in the pit lane. Now we got Julian dropping down to 6th for some reason. The safety car has really ruined Julian's race here. I've never seen that bad then. And Julian now down into 6th position. And his brilliant return to ALR is going to be made much more difficult now. He comes into the pits. He's going to be near the back of the field. We've got a Haas car coming in the pits as well. I think that's Van Von into the pits. So just watch the Ferrari. Car 2. When I see car 2 on the Ferrari, I always think of Ruben's Barrichello. Out of the pits now comes Julian. Here comes Van Von. He's looking for the Haas mechanics in the black and red. There they are. I think the Haas car is going to have a very... Well, the Haas team are going to be having a bit of a debrief by the end of this one. It's going to be quite a tense debrief as well. Where do I go on holiday, Sean? To Madagascar. I want to meet Alex the Lion. Out of the pits comes Van Von. In all seriousness, I've never been abroad, to be honest. The furthest I've actually gone is Torquay. Unless you count Wales as a different country as well. That's probably the only place I've gone to be honest. This chat is a lot better than normal, says JS. Goodness me. It's because it's Smithy Almighty monitoring it, isn't it? They're called Smithy Almighty. Let's everyone get away with shocking stuff. Please don't. Make sure you like and subscribe, says Smithy Almighty. I love it. Of course, the more subscribers, the more likes, which means more chocolate for me at the end of the season there. Albeit I probably... Sean doesn't fly, or say also Wales then. You never see me out in Cardiff, says JS. I don't think I've been to Cardiff twice, actually. Why was I in Cardiff? Oh, I think it was someone's 21st birthday, so that was almost 20 years ago now. And was I in Cardiff the other day? I don't know. I was in Cardiff for a bit of daytime drinking. And you know what the best thing about Cardiff is, actually? They actually had the Austrian qualifying session on from 2024. So it just made my day. Safety cars in the end of this lap, then Julian's down into 15th position. Medium tyres for Legende, for Van Von and Vessier. Those medium tyres are going to stretch now, so let's see how this one transpires. If you don't like or subscribe, no chips then. Ugh, I was almost swallowing my tongue then. Absolutely no chips then, of course. If no one subscribes and likes, you'll never have chips again. As we come now to start off this race now in just a jiffy. Why was this safety car, says Camera Racer? I do not know, to be honest. There was no obvious... I'll have to look back on the stream, but I didn't see anything obvious. We're back racing then for the second half of this race. And Medi leads, and it's got 3 lap older tyres than Flippy. And Flippy has still got Villash right behind him as well. Brabbit in 4th, with Sweet in 5th position. Nameless in 6th position. Everson's dropped down to 18th. Marky is 7th. Brabbit is through. Brabbit is trying to force his way through. He's trying to force his way past the Red Bull on Villash, and Brabbit on the outside. Magnificent stuff from the former Silver World Champion. He is up into 3rd position there. His next target is his former rival Flippy. Good gracious me, gentlemen. That's fantastic. I don't think Villash is going to be too happy about that then, as Ayrton has lost out to 2 drivers. So he's down into 16th now for the second Hilton, down in 16th position there. Back at the front there, Medi is we got yellow flags there. Something's happened there. Ayrton's recovering. I think it also his brother is also all over the back of him as well. It's like the Schumachers from peak 2001. Medi leads, but it's not out of DRS yet. DRS will be available level at the end of this lap then, as Pease is trying to recover after contact between himself and his teammate a couple of laps ago then, which I gotta say, Komatsu is going to be absolutely furious because that Haas team was looking good for 6th and 7th position, but sadly though the contact has really put them out of the points so far then. Pretty sure he came to Torquay for Everson's birthday with an interested shirt. Absolutely. Of course, I think I was in a pink flamingo shirt, wasn't I, there? Which, of course, very bold I am indeed then. I'm also quite easy to find as well because I'm very thick. Oh, the final turn then. And Flippy then is having a look there, but no DRS yet. Then the DRS is on this lap, though. And down that 1.2 kilometre straight is going to be Flippy's major opportunity to take the lead in this race. But Medi is not going to let him through, is he? So this is going to be a great battle then on lap 17 there. As Julian is lost out, and of course he's got medium tyres on, trying to go back up the inside of Julian now. He has the purchase, he has the traction, but Julian has the race in line, and he's going to go up the inside. Oh my word. Oh, I've swallowed me tongue down into 13 for this then. Trying to lock up the tyre contact, and through goes Van Vanen up into 14 for this as well. So we've got Pease and Kieran going side by side as well, and Kieran up into 8th for this now. That McLaren, he's been in the midfield for most of this race there, but let's see what Kieran can do. He's got a lap younger tyres than most of the racers around him, up into 4th position now. Then we've got Villash on 3 lap old hard tyres along with Brabant and Flippy. Medi's on 6 lap old tyres as well, as just coming into the 1.2 kilometre straight then. Medi is now going to have to get his elbows out here. Chaz has lost out. Is Delano almost on the almost into the point as well. Here comes Flippy. He's all over the gearbox of the Alpine as he's punching a big old hole in the air. Flippy takes the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. Now, this is what he needs to get his toe down this Flippy and see if he can waltz away. Why is he dancing? I do not know. But he needs to now waltz away from the Alpine driver. He's got to have fresher tyres, more traction there. But Medi does have DRS there. And you can see once again, Flippy is trying to break the slipstream there, as Medi is trying to gain on him going into turn 1. And now, but let's see how this one transpires then. Sweet is all over the gearbox of Villash. He's struggling. I'm wondering if Villash has had damage somewhere, or if he's just not liking those hard tyres, because they are really struggling out there at the moment. Goodness gracious me. As coming out of turn 4, we got Chaza and Vessier. Oh, it's Vessier in that beautiful pink machine. Up into 15th position there. Julian's got past Delano, but Delano's back up the inside. They're ghosting. That's not PG. Goodness gracious me, gentlemen. Oh, it's Delano again squirrely as Julian is back up he's back up to 11th position, and yes, he does go through. Down into 12 goes down. Oh, my word, contact. Van Vaart is forced his way through. My word, very unconventional there from the Haas driver of Van Vaart. I do feel there's probably a lot of rage in that crash helmet of Van Vaart after contact between himself and his teammate. That now is going to be the story of the day, I feel. Back at the front, Flippy is not out of DRS range though, so that could be costly then. And now we come down the 1.2 kilometre straight once again there, as we got Sweet getting past there, as the Red Bull driver Villash is dropping like a stone now. What's going on with the Red Bull driver? Can we see damage on the front nose cone? Yes, there's end plate damage there on the Red Bull. Up the inside goes Nameless. Is that going to be team orders between the Red Bull? Well, Nameless is going to force his way through. Oh, contact there. Nameless getting squirrely, and he'll have the outside into the final turn, and he is through. Villash has got damage there, so I'm wondering if that happened into the pit lane potentially. The top 3 are now just absolutely waltzing away, with Brabant is now in 3rd position. Into 4th is Sweet, then Delano into pits, and that's very early. I think there's damage, and Delano out of his debut race of this season, and that's heartbreak, unfortunately. And that is such a shame indeed. Flippy then leads the way then. Right. Ooh. Right, let's sit down a minute. As come on, Hilltop boys, where's the sauce? The sauce. The sauce. Not la sauce, the sauce. As Kieran on the inside, getting past Markey. Markey dropping down as Pease could be on the outside. No, Pease, the side's better off it there. But he will have a chance to get past Markey in the next couple of corners and potentially down the 1.2 kilometre straight there. I do have a good memory, Sean, says JS. That's not good for me, isn't it? Because I must admit I am a drunken mess sometimes. There's a piece there, getting all squirrely there, and opposite, full of opposite lock there for the Haas car. Locking up the inside tyre once again. Then Chaz has got back past Vessier, as looks like the Vessier is struggling now. I think he's recovering from some kind of issue. That P's all over the gearbox now. Where is he? There he is, and all over the pink machine of the Alpine now. As here comes P's, and goodness gracious me, you can barely see which car ends and begins there. As Julian now been in 10th position there. As Pease is still in 9th there. That's surprising. Kieran on the inside then. There's the Red Bull with no with wing damage there. He just cannot fight. And this is heartbreaking there for Village there. Van Von's got the first penalty of the race. That just shows how incredibly accurate these drivers are. It's superb stuff indeed. Back at the front is 2/10 of a second. As Emerson is got past Vessu's come into the pits there. So I'm wondering if Vessu's got issues as well there. Back with Pete, and goodness me, there is Anarchy. Pete up into 8th position. Yes, he is through. Vessu out of the Grand Prix. Markey down to 9th. Make that 10th because Julian's trying to eliminate him down into 10th as well. Eliminate. Oh my goodness me. On the outside, there's so much more braking capacity there compared to the other people. Markey there. Goodness me, that's going to be damage to the side pod if you ain't careful. And Markey's got the outside line. Julian is up into 9th. Yes, Markey trying to come back at him. Contact there on the rear diffuser. That's right. All right, sit down. Oh my goodness gracious me, this is absolutely incredible racing indeed then. Oh gosh. When I'm next seeing Emerson, I'm going to get him 18 shots there. I think that, to be honest, he probably deserves more than 18 shots. And what you should probably do is give him the amount of the amount of seconds behind should be the amount of shots that he has. And that's what I reckon. Now, Ruthless saying then hard tires are so hard to warm up here, says Ruthless, which could be the reason why there are so many struggling. Brabant, who is trying to go up the inside of Medi, but Medi are just about keeping himself at arm's length. Ruthless, do you think that the hard tires are going to get to the end there for Medi? He's done 9 laps on these hard tires. Make that 10 now, and he's got 7 more to go. Is that going to be enough there? I do not know, to be honest. Maybe you should get Paris Hilton to drive there. Goodness gracious me, we hope to get an interview from Emerson. That's what's happened. As I'm going up the inside, that is Braverton's Medi there's trying to keep the outside there, and Medi is still just about in front there. As Brabant is trying to get in front there. I'm wondering if I think the Brabant might be the quickest of the top 3 so far. As we got Van Von, who's got a 3-second penalty, so we'll be hoping that the drivers behind him will get penalties as well, and maybe in front. Markey is starting to drop down the order. I wonder if Markey's also got damage as well. As Equals had all over the gearbox now, and that beautiful Chrome and Papaya McLaren in 12th position there. Back at the front then, as Medi has lost a second. He's out of DRS, which is going to make it a bit easier now for Brabant. His teammate Sweet Beyond is trying to repel Nameless, who's had a very strong start to the season. He finished 6th in Australia. He's now into 5th at the moment. But he does have Kieran, who's starting to make his way through the field very nicely indeed then. Not interested in the top 3. Embarrassing from Emerson there. Special interview for Emerson. Ask him about his date. It's giving him drive not to be last set. Goodness gracious me. And so we got Brabant up into 2nd position there. Medi is down into 3rd. So Medi then losing DRS, and he's got to stay in DRS. And Julian, oh no! And more contact with Van Von and Julian. And I'm not sure if that's a desync or not then. I know it's Pease, is it? It's Pease. And Pease and the Ferrari may come together, I think, there. And both drivers have dropped out of the points. Oh dear, as the Ferrari Julian then having a very unlucky race set, of course, pitted at the wrong time. Then the safety car came out and picked him up right as his rivals came in the pits. One of the most unluckiest safety cars you'll ever see in Grand Prix racing then. Oh my goodness gracious me. And now dropping down to 11th and 12th position then after him and Pease locked up his tyres, unfortunately. Oh dear. Oof, my goodness me. Delano saying, sorry, lads, got no choice to retire the car because my net has decided to, oh, goodness me, decided that there's some issues going on in Delano's house and out of the Grand Prix, along with Vescher out of this race as well. 16 cars remain out of the 18 that started. The top 10 does score points in this one, of course, so we still got 6 laps to go. Anything can happen in this race, but Flippy now has quite a healthy advantage of 1.3 seconds over Brabbit, with Mehdi in third position there. There is Mehdi in the background. Then we have a 4-second gap between himself and Sweet Dad. And you can see once again trying to break the slipstream now. Kieran is getting close to the back of the Red Bull. And then we got Villash, who has just been dropping after that damage, which was under the safety car or during the pit stops there. As Nameless trying to defend there. So Kieran goes on the outside, contact there, almost spinning the car, but keeping it on the straight and now, which is probably the most important thing at the moment. Into the final turn then with 5 to go in this one. Then this is going to be edge of your seat stuff there. Flippy leads by only 2 seconds now, but once again then Kieran is coming at Nameless. He's going for it and he's going to go on the inside. He takes 5th position there. Nameless is going to go back up and under. Was that a nudge? Potentially, but Nameless is through and back into 5th there. Great race in there. Nameless went back up and under there. Whether he gave the McLaren a shove or not, we do not know. If not, that was cracking racing there, and Kieran would dive up the inside. Nameless went for an up and under, back into 5th position. Great racing from the both drivers. I love that. Sensational stuff indeed there. Hats off. Flippy leads. Oh gosh. Right, incredible racing around here, isn't it? This is of course a return to China after we missed the Chinese Grand Prix last season. So this has been a very much a return to form for the Chinese Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff indeed. Recent years in China, in real life, but anyway, the Chinese Grand Prix has not been the most intriguing of Grand Prix, has it? Whoa, is that Ferrari almost losing the car there? That's Julian. He's got back in front of the Alpine there, just about from Markey. And Markey, goodness gracious me, as Julian there really struggling with that car on those hard tires. But I wonder if there's a bit of anger going on in that Ferrari crash helmet as well, potentially. Which I don't blame him whatsoever, because that's just so unlucky, isn't it? From Julian, who's returning back to Grand Prix racing. He hasn't raced in season 7. Up the inside goes Kieran. Nameless there, he's got to straighten the car. There's contact once again there, as Nameless is going to try and get the inside, but I think the job has been done from Kieran. Nameless will have DRS though, going down into turn 1 there, but I think that Kieran has had a great launch off of turn 16, and Nameless is going to have to really get his urge deployment on the go, and no, instead he's going from attack to the fence again, because Village on the outside, but Nameless keeps the position there. Of course, 2 Red Bull drivers, and we got a super sub in the second Red Bull with Immortal, unfortunately not racing here tonight there, and hopefully every Immortal and Mayran is of course safe and well in around then after the events that is going on there over there, and his P's are struggling to control that car at the moment. Discord, that's not my job, that's Sean's job. Sean is doing a cracking job, says JS. Thank you very much. I don't feel like it at the moment because I've got indigestion now, and I also feel like that I might have to vacate the facility very quickly because I've got bellyache coming on there, which is not very good. It's all that protein. And driver of the day is out Brabbit, Equals, Brabbit, Flippy, Equals, and Kieran for your driver of the day. Of course, also, so if you want to vote for Advert of the Day, me and Smithy is also in the comments as well. Thumbs up for me, thumbs up for what's happened. There's a problem. And, oh, it's Chazza. Bottas spun there in 2017, wasn't it? Oh, that's a shame there for Chazza. He was on a strong drive today, and he's down there to 15th position. That propels Ayrton up into 14th there. 13th for Emerson there. Peace in 12th position. And then we've got Mark in 11th. Julian is going to have a lunge. Not quite there. The gap is just not open. Equals did give him the space there. He invited the Ferrari, did Equals there. A bit of teasing from that McLaren driver. Lap 25 of this racer, as we are winding down to what has been quite a sensational Chinese Grand Prix, I must say. And more to come, I think, tomorrow night. Oh, Kieran on the outside again. Wow, fantastic. Where's the Sweet there? Has to bail out there, unfortunately. And Sweet is down into 5th position. I say unfortunately, because Sweet's drove a superb racer, but once again, Kick Sauber could be taking the lead in the Constructors' Championship with a great team result from Sweet and Brabant. Kieran up to fourth now. Kieran had a bit of a difficult qualifying session, but throughout the course of the race then, on lap 25, he's been coming through the grid very nicely indeed there. No, I don't think any major risks there coming through the field, and Kieran has been calm and precise in this one, but he's got a 6-second buffer between himself and the podium series, which is Medi, Brabant and Flippy, so that might be a bit of a hard task there for Kieran, but I have no doubt. Ayrton's got a 3-second penalty for cutting a corner. Shameful stuff there from Ayrton. There's no hiding here then, so that's surely going to have to be a 20-second penalty to the end of his race time as well, because cheaters never prosper, Ayrton. Shocking. Peas all over the gearbox of Marky. Marky is a Peas and has had a very adventurous Grand Prix tonight. I reckon that Peas, Julian and Van Von are probably going to be feeling a bit unhappy with how this race has gone on, unfortunately, which is such a shame now. Driver of the day is definitely Emerson. I do not have any quarrels about that. There he is in the background for Emerson there. Of course, joking aside then, of course, Emerson, of course, is only starting to learn to race with his wheel. And, of course, remember about Tori last year, where Tori had to go back from his wheel to a controller for most of Silver. It is so difficult when you're not used to racing with the controller type you've got then. So it is very difficult to get your head in the game there. So, and I think the two drivers like Emerson and Tori so difficult to really get your eye in there. Chaz also a 3-second penalty, shocking stuff. Deep answered that. Chaz came into the pits there, so I'm not sure how he's got that 3-second penalty. So that might be a bit harsh there. Julian up the inside of Van Von there, and once again he's already had an issue with one Haas, and now Julian is going to try and scrap with the other one. Van Von's done 11 laps, and there's contact there. Van Von was trying to take the racing line, but Julian was still there. Legende has got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It's got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and that's just an extra bonus point now, of course, in Grand Prix racing over here. We do Van Von is in the wall, and he's out of the race there, and that's a huge smash there. I don't think we're going to get a safety car this late in the race. It's off the racing line, but my goodness gracious me, I think the Van Von's tyres were almost past it, and that's a huge shunt indeed. Not seen Anderson make one move in this race. Well, he has now. He's up into 12th position there. So great manoeuvre from Emerson. But not what a great manoeuvre for Van Von then. I think that the tyres must have let go for Van Von. Spun up the rear tyres, spun the car into the wall, out of the race there. And I think that really puts puts a tin hat onto what has been a very tough race for the Haas team. And now Pease and Markey are fighting for the final point. That is Markey there, shows in the door. And Pease, wow! And on the grass there, up into 10th position. What a magnificent manoeuvre. 2 wheels on the grass there. Pease, that was just, it wasn't even a Pease whip manoeuvre there, but what a manoeuvre! Up into 10th position now. Markey down into 11th on this one. Incredible racing. Magnificent stuff indeed then. There's a big old, I thought there was a big old lock up there from Sweeten on lap 27 out of 28 in this race. Another place for Emerson. That will buff out, says Serious Pressure. Somehow he's in 12th from Emerson is there. He is 12 points behind the 12 seconds behind the next car. Legende coming in the pits again. Chaza and Legende are fighting for that final fastest lap point of this race so far. Flippy, there's 3 seconds in front. Once you got that DRS range, I wonder if it was gain set a match set for the Aston Martin driver. But Flippy on course to win his 4th Grand Prix of his career, if it all goes right. He had pole position here earlier on in this race. He had a very strong drive to 4th position in the Australian Grand Prix. This result, I think, is not going to give him the lead in the championship. I'm going to have to get my calculator out because with Brabant in 2nd position, we got all kinds of anarchy going on here as Van Von there, very frustrating. I think that both Haas drivers are probably going to be having a stern word as Pease locking up both tyres as Markey is having none of it. What incredible race there between these two. Markey is back through and into 10th finish there. This is the final point then. This up for grabs between these two drivers then on the final lap then. And here comes Pease again. And Pease had an audacious maneuver this time around last time. On the outside though, and he is on the outside, swims on the outside, passes the Alpine driver. My goodness me. Pease, hats off to you for not giving up in what has been a very tough race for the Haas team now. But magnificent stuff indeed. Wow, I love it. Absolutely mega stuff, man. Oh, gosh. Right. This has been an absolute doozy Grand Prix, I must admit. Driver of the day votes are out then. Flippy 57%, Bravitt 14%, and Kieran 29% as well. I have no qualms about that. Charles has got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Charles could have been on course, I think, for the bottom end of the point set, but had issues, didn't he, unfortunately. This race is going to be decided at turn 14, I believe, Ben, so keep an eye out for this one. As we're just on board now with Medi then coming out of turn 14. I think that is on 13. I can't remember which one it is now. Look at this DRS, but I think the Bravitt should about just have enough of an advance there. But in the background, Kieran, Sweet, and the Velas there is going to be very interesting. Look at the slipstreaming in the background there. Kieran there, and there we got Sweet as well. Getting very close indeed now. Also the Red Bull as well. There's Julian is passed, and through he goes then. And Flippy wins here the Chinese Grand Prix. He wins the 4th race of his career in magnificent style as well, as Julian has got past Nameless and up into 7th position there. Nameless down to 8th then. Pease and Markey also fighting for position as well, and Pease on the outside, Mark on the inside as well. Goodness me, it's like the Japanese Grand Prix from back in oh, he's got a 20-second penalty in, but it's like the Japanese Grand Prix from 2007. Pease, what an incredible drive that was there. We had yellow flags for either Everson or Ayrton, who comes in 12th and 13th position there. And then we have Chaza in 14th and Legende in 15th. Retirements, Van Bon, Vessier and Delando out of this Grand Prix. Game changer, says Dom. Flippy, his 4th Grand Prix win of his career, his 1st of the season. I don't know if I keep getting to lead the championship. I don't think that does. I think that actually it might be Bravitt, but then again, I haven't got me calculator out tonight there, so we'll have to think about that tomorrow night then potentially. What a race. So Flippy wins the Chinese Grand Prix, his 4th win of his career, and what an incredible result that is as well. Of course, from pole position to checker flag from Flippy, and what a performance there. Incredible stuff indeed. Then, of course, Flippy, the silver champion then from not last season, the season before. He finished 4th in the championship last season. My goodness me, that he is going to be a major factor in this one. Points, Lego. WTF, my foot hurts. Oh, Lego. Oh, and look at that. He's even got the classic reef as well as a Flippy. Fantastic stuff indeed. Let's take a look at the classification then. Driver of the day is Kieran there. Julian gets the... I don't know why I keep saying Jeffrey. It's because Jeffrey's slow. Julian gets the most overtakes fast up for Chaza. Gets that bonus point. And Flippy gets the Grand Prix win. Flippy's 4th win of his career. His 1st win of the season. The wins the Chinese Grand Prix with Bravitt in 2nd and Medi in 3rd. Kieran in 4th position with Sweet in 5th. Village in 6th position. Julian in 7th. It's been a tough race for Julian, but hats off for him for recovering to 7th. Nameless in 8th. Equals in 9th. And Markey completes the top 10. A 20-second penalty for Pease. I'm not sure where he got that in the end. He might be able to get that rescinded. Emerson is 41 seconds behind, which means he has 41 shots. 13th position is Ayrton, who is 46 seconds behind, so he has 46 shots. Chaza passes up gets that bonus point for Williamson, who are 14th and 15th. Then retirements of Van Bon, Vessier, and Delando retired from this epic Chinese Grand Prix. Great drive from Flippy, a great drive there, says JS as well. Absolutely, that was an incredible race indeed. No one's joining me in the party. So that is so sad indeed. Am I in the right party? Uh-oh. Hang on a minute. Let me just check if I'm in the right party. No, I'm not. That is awful. 1 second. Let me go into the other party. I must admit, I thought I jumped into the comments box. Absolutely shocking stuff indeed. Right. Let me get in there. Absolutely disgraceful stuff indeed. Then. Am I in the comments box now? Potentially. But anyway, incredible driving that was indeed today. Then what an incredible Chinese Grand Prix. I am now in the right party. When Knowles not here, it all goes to pot. Then, goodness gracious me. So we got Brabbit and we got Medi in as well. I'm hoping we'll have Flippy in as well in just a jiffy. But before we do so, let's talk to Brabbit, who finished second today. And Brabbit, what an incredible race that was! And I must say, it was tense right from the get go. Very much a DRS train to begin with. So, how difficult was it to really map out what was going on in the race today?
Thank you very much. First of all, I was really afraid of attending today. I had some issues with my rig and with my brake pedals, and but I somehow fixed it for today. So I hope I can fix it for the rest of the season as well. And I really enjoyed China. Of course, I agree. At some points we had a DRS train, but to be honest, I felt like pretty confident to make some move and to overtake the guys. And huge shout out and congrats and really congratulations to Flippy. Well deserved. Really proud of him. He was the quickest today in quali and in the race, I believe. So P1 was deserved by him. I think P2 was maximum today, but overall I really enjoyed it.
Of course, by the time you got past, you was having a great battle with Medi today, then, but by the time you got past Medi, the gap was quite substantial. I say substantial, it's about a couple of seconds then. Do you think if you got past Medi slightly earlier on in the race, then you might have been able to challenge Flippy today?
The issue was I was losing the 1 second window to Flippy, and I wasn't able to catch up. I think in the first lap I was able to get a tenth, but yeah, the gap was still 1.4 seconds. So and I was not really confident at all to focus on closing the gap because really wanted to defend the position to behind. So I have to manage a little bit the ERS to not be overtaken on the straight. But overall, Flippy was so consistent. I was not seeing any mistake, and so it's well deserved by Flippy. I did everything I could, but P2 was maximum today. But I'm really happy with that.
And in qualifying, yeah, you was I think you was about fifth in it. I can't remember. It's so long ago. But in qualifying, you was the fifth-ish on the grid. Then, do you feel that you might have to practice on the one lap pace a bit more to maybe start a bit higher up, or even if you did start higher up today, do you think the second was just the best was going to happen today?
I always struggle a little bit compared to the others in the quali. So the first run was really, really good. Like I never set 31.7 and I did it in the first run. The second one was bad. I did a mistake in the second sector. And the third run was quite good. I was 1.5 tenths up, but I invalid in the last corner, so it's my fault. But I'm just lacking a little bit of confidence and performance in the quali. I somehow improved in the last 10 to 15 races, but the gap is still there, so I'm not the best in quali in this game. I always focus a little bit more on the race and the race pace, but somehow I can overtake the guys at least. And yeah, but you are right, the quali is not perfect, but it's okay to be in the top pack, and then maybe you can make a move in the beginning or with a strategy. So the race is always really long.
It certainly is, and of course we did mention about the DRS trains as well. Is that quite frustrating going into a race day, knowing that there's a big long straight, but you just can't overtake because of DRS? Does that make it very frustrating for yourself and for your fellow drivers?
It can be. It depends on the track. For me personally, I believe in China it's possible to overtake. Um, Not really. If you have a lot of more ERS, you can overtake on the straight, but some corners are with long braking zones, especially sector one. Uh, at the end of sector one, there's a possibility, and in the second sector, when the guy in front is doing a mistake. So China is okay, I think, but there are some tracks, maybe like Silverstone, where it is really hard to overtake, and then it can be really frustrating in the DRS train. You are right, but today I think it was okay.
And then next week, of course, we've got our first random Grand Prix where we spin the wheel of fortune, so to speak. We got three circuits on the calendar on the wheel. How do you have to change your approach? Because of course we did this back in season 12. What's your thoughts on this wheel? Because it can certainly really throw a curveball with three completely different race circuits. Are you looking forward to the challenge, or do you feel that it's going to hinder your preparation?
Um, I- Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of format, but it's okay. It's the same for everyone, so yeah, it will be interesting how you can prepare for that. But I will try, and then we will have to wait and see. So um, yeah, I think we have to wait and see, and then later on I can make a summary. But right now I'm not sure.
Thank you very much, Brabant. I love that honesty as well, because normally I would just say, yeah, I love it when I don't. Good 17, well done, Brabant. Medi, you
Thank
finished
you.
third. No, no worries, sorry, Brabant. Medi, you finished third today. But going back to qualifying, then potentially you could have been on pole position, but you made a mistake on that last lap there. What happened in qualifying?
Yeah, actually, I entered the quali without any practice, so I couldn't manage the time to get out. Usually, I get out for my first run in 13 minutes, then in 8 minutes. But for this one, it was so strange for me. I couldn't get the last run, so I was so frustrated. But anyway, Felipe's time was so massive. I don't think I could beat that time. So maybe like P2 or P3 was okay for me. So. With this, I went to race.
I don't know. Then go on to the race itself. And it's much better than Australia. But do you feel that are you disappointed with being on the podium today, or do you think this is about the right position, right result for yourself?
No, actually, last week I was so fast. I think I was a little bit unlucky. In this track, really, Brabit and Flippy was monsters here. The race pace was quite better than me. I couldn't get the setup right till last moment of the race, so I was having problem with setup so much. Even Brabit could take me over in the train. So I went for a undercut, a huge undercut. I think like 3 laps sooner than the normal. But again, I was unlucky with safety car. So at the end, I was happy with P3 because I couldn't do more. I just tried to put a gap between Brabit and Filippi, so I have Brabit's DRS to pass him at the last lap. But he was so fast, I couldn't do it. It was impossible for me.
That's a very good point as well. Touching on the safety car, do you think without that safety car intervention, then you would have had a much bigger gap then, which potentially wouldn't have had to press your tyres so much, especially with defending from a Brabant and Flippy. Without that safety car, then do you think this could have been a completely different outcome to the race today?
Of course, with lap 13 or 14, I think Felipe was going to pit, so he was being stuck in traffic for sure. My undercut was huge. I was looking at the times. I was gaining like at least 2 seconds a lap to them. So with this undercut, I would expect them to catch me in the like last 5 or 4 laps. I would let the first in the train to go and stuck behind him. But with the safety car scenario, I couldn't do this. Like they were stuck behind me from the lap 14, 15. I got no chance. I think P2 or P3 was the best result I could get from this race.
And talk to me about your tire management, because I was saying in the comms box that potentially you may not be able to get to the end on those tires, but somehow you did a really good job then. How do you manage those tires then, and how difficult is it to let drive well not let drivers go past, but how difficult is it not to get sucked into looking at the gaps between yourself, between Flippy, between Brabant? How difficult was that to manage today?
I think tire management in this track is so marginal, but tonight the track temperature wasn't that high. I think it was 30. Normally it's 35. So I was a little bit confident to take the tires to the end, and also with the safety car, I was so lucky. So when safety car came, my tires were on like 15 or 20%. So I was confident to take the tires to the end because in the practices with 35-degree, I could do at least 20 laps on hard. It wasn't a problem for me. But of course, comparing to other cars, for the last lap, it's impossible for you to fight with them. But to take the car to the end, it's possible, I think.
And of course, I asked Brabham about this Wheel of Fortune where you got three races where we spin the wheel just like 20 minutes before the Grand Prix. Brabham's not sold on the idea. Do you like the idea, or would you rather know what the circle is so you can get some preparation in?
Actually, like Rabbit, I'm not fan of this format. I'm not fan of anything to add a factor of chance to the races, like safety cars even. So with this format, I think it's a little bit by chance, like which track you are good or which track you have trained more. But anyway, it's same for all. We can try it. I have experience in all those three tracks, so uh, I would be happy to try this format. But if it was by me, I wouldn't choose this format at all.
Thank you very much. I love your honesty as well. And very much two drivers that very much like to have precision and engineering at its finest. I love it. Very much Nico Rosberg esque. I hope you don't take offense to that. I love it. Let's come to Flippy. Your fourth Grand Prix win of your career. Dare I say it's your best one because pole position to checker flag sounds easy on paper, but tell us through that race because it was anything but.
Yeah, that safety car was so lucky. Like I was planning to stay out one more lap. If I did that, like basically I would be at the back because I would have been caught by the safety car. But I guess it's just luck, and today I had the luck. And yeah, the race itself, like I wasn't expecting the pace to be honest until like earlier today because my pace yesterday was like horrendous. I was doing like 32.2s and quality sessions, but just somehow magically today I switched like setups and just kind of repractice everything, and it just kind of went to plan. And the race itself, yeah, it was kind of just at the start. I was just trying to manage tires because my tire was higher than most of the top pack, so I was just trying to manage. And then the safety car came out, and after the restart, I was just trying to kind of make Brabit and Mehit fight a bit, and then kind of create that gap and just kind of have that gap to like manage the to the end where Brabit is not in DRS.
Yeah, that safety car really threw a curveball. I must admit, I don't actually know what it's for, to be honest. I need to go back and have a look. But when you come in the pits, then, by the sounds of it, you didn't know the safety car is about to come out. Then, by the sounds of it,
No, I think the safety car came out as we went past the braking, like turning for the pit lane entry, and I was just like so caught out. I could have gained at least 3 seconds on the pit lane entry, but I was just like shocked and was just kind of panicking on like tire selection and stuff. So I just kind of lost 3 seconds, but um, yeah, it's just lucky, I guess, this week, and hopefully it doesn't catch up on me next week or the week after, just for the rest of the season.
and during that race as well, we was talking to Brabbit about the DRS trains and things like which can be quite frustrating. Yeah, you and Villash was having a great battle at the beginning of the race, and you're swapping positions. It seemed more like that you didn't mind losing the race lead and then gaining the race lead and then losing the race lead. Is that a fair assumption to make, or did you always think that the race lead is important in this one?
I mean, swapping with Villiers is kind of like helped me with managing tires because I think it's easier to manage tires in dirty air than clean air, like because you can go slower and you just kind of stick in DRS and then just kind of manage behind the person ahead. But I think if you stick in behind the guy too long, then you would just kind of lose the pace and just let kind of the car behind overtake like Rabbit did in turn one. Like I think he did like what 3 moves into turn one. Like that was impressive to be fair to watch, and yeah, just kind of it did help with kind of time management. But I don't think race lead is crucial around here. You just have to be in the top two to have a chance to win.
And you touched upon having issues with yesterday about the lack of pace. And coming into today, then did that help or hinder you? Do you think? Did you think that coming into this race that actually I don't need to worry too much about my pace isn't great, then so I can just relax a bit more, or did that spur you on with maybe I've got a lot to lose here?
I mean, to be fair, like looking back at last week, for example, I think I over practiced for the Australia race because I was consistently doing faster lap times on like Saturday-ish, Friday, and then I just kind of over practiced and then my pace was just gone. And compared that to today and this week's practice, I think this week's format and approach to practice is better, and it's less time consuming as well. So like, yeah, I think this week it's just genuine practice is better, but it did take me like at least couple hours to get this up right because it's like China and the layout is like weird. You need to like kind of balance this out like fully to get the car to go like as fast as possible.
And of course, the Grand Prix win today. Then going with a more or not racing today. Then did that feel that this make it a little more pressurized for yourself then to maybe get the win? So that because potentially you and Brabbit might be the closest challengers to Immortal. So did you also feel extra pressure knowing Immortal's not racing tonight?
Yeah, of course. Like coming into the race, my mentality was I need to get a podium because Mironov and Immortal isn't racing today due to like the um, political issues, I think. But yeah, I mean it's a shame for them to kind of lose the championship lead just because of something that they can't really control. But at the same time, I was just telling myself that it's like a chance that I have to capitalize on, I guess.
And of course, we've got the Wheel of Misfortune potentially next week as well, which I'm banging on about it. I'm going to ask you as well. What do you make of the format then? Three races on the wheel. Then of course one gets picked about 20 minutes before the race. Then are you going to be feeling confident about that, knowing that you don't know which race you're going to be racing at, or are you a bit in the camp of Brabbit and Medi tonight?
I mean, I think the first one is fine. It's Japan, Bahrain, and Saudi. I'm decent at Saudi. I think I got pole last season, and I just love the layout. I think that Japan is probably the most worrying for me. But in general, I think that just basically means I have to spend even more hours practicing for the race. So yeah, I mean, I don't dislike the format, but like the other two, I would prefer if it's just a normal race. But yeah, it just basically means more practice for me.
Thank you very much, guys. Brilliant stuff today. Flippy getting his fourth Grand Prix win of this career. Magnificent stuff for the Chinese Grand Prix. That's action packed. Tomorrow night we're going to be back in action for silver, I believe. And my goodness me, then there was a lot of heartbreak in silver last week, wasn't there? Remember, Mumford then was looking on fine Vettel, but issues in the race there. And of course, it was capitalised by Jenner getting his second Grand Prix win of his career. Cannot wait for that then. The two Aston Martins finished second and third then. But Team Orders certainly was at play. And we're going to see more Team Orders tomorrow night. As JS and Thomas said, spin that wheel.